Port Elizabeth, Fidos Munda, Jared Kimber, light inquiry. Pavan-deep Sun, he says, nice to see W. Parnell amongst wickets. Do you think off-field issues have hampered his progress?
What off-field issues? I think so. I think he's been a little bit confused, a little bit conflicted with his life recently. He's had a religious conversion, which I think has played a big role in his maturity. Not that I'm saying one needs to become Muslim in order to mature, so you don't have to do that. But
lucky.
But I think he's grown up. He was 19 when he sort of burst onto the scene. I think he's 22 or 23.
24.
Or 24 now. So he's grown up a little. We all grow up from 19 to 24. It happens, and it's happened to him.
Andrew Grant says, SA are always slow to start a series. Is this why they'll only be considered a good side but not great?
There are a couple of things that are the difference between a good and a great side. One of them is being really ruthless. And I think South Africa have tried to be ruthless, but then we see things like this, you know, starting slowly. So I'm not sure whether starting slowly defines whether or not you're ruthless, but I think being ruthless defines whether you're great.
I agree with all that. I would say also to be great, I just don't think they've been brilliant for long enough. They had that amazing run of about 9 or 10 series under Gary Kirsten, and other than that, they've just been okay. Kumal Ali says, Morkel and Johnson are similar bowlers with lots of pace and get decent bounce. Why don't they get the same result?
I think Morkel doesn't get as many wickets as Johnson, just because the other guys seem to take all the wickets and he's creating the pressure. It's not fair on him, it really isn't. I mean, he's causing all kinds of problems out there, and then you get a Vernon Philander or a Dale Steyn coming in and taking the wickets. But I do think there will come a time when he's taking more wickets than the other two.
I just think he hasn't been consistent enough, and I think when Mitchell Johnson's only had one period in his career where he's really consistent, and he took a bunch of wickets, if Morne Morkel ever did what Mitchell Johnson did, he could take as many. He could be better for longer, I think. And the reason he could be better for longer is he's taller, and I think that's why they got different bounce on different pitches. Andy and Brum says, what type of deal with the devil did Warner make to get this type of luck? He has been pretty lucky, hasn't he?
Yeah, dropped 3 times at Supersport Park, dropped again here.
He does sort of make it as well. There was that moment where he flicked 2 balls in the air on the leg side, and there was no one there. And there was no one there because he smashed them everywhere as well. Yeah. So he does make his own luck. But that drop, I mean, I don't understand that drop. Zishan Kasif says, do you think SA will miss a spinner on the 4th and 5th day? It's like I knew that was coming. How would the pitch do?
Yeah, short answer, yes, unless they bowl Australia out really quickly tomorrow and force the follow on and then bowl them out again.
We had something like 4 or 5 questions about that before South Africa came out and bowled with a new ball. So up until that point, I mean, that was a really good question, and we all thought the same thing. I mean, Australia took 7 wickets with spinners and 2 wickets with seam. You just assumed that would keep coming. And then that has all changed around. But you're right, if Australia had managed to get anywhere near this score and draw it out, I don't know if South Africa can keep taking wickets with seam. It does seem like a good spin pitch. I mean, Dumini might take 5.
What a great game that would be if he does that.
Mohammed Bilal says, is Rogers the weakest link in the Aussie side? And will Watto be trusted again with the opening job? Well, Watto lost the opening job just recently, so I don't think they're going to in a rush to get him back. Is Rogers the weakest link in the Australian? I mean, I think the whole Australian top order is still quite weak.
He is a short-term solution, isn't he? Because he's not getting any younger like everybody. I mean, I suppose...
I think he's getting better looking. I think he's batted really well, but if you look at his overall record, it doesn't show that.
It doesn't, definitely.
So the problem is, when you're his age, that people just start to move on from you, don't they? So I don't necessarily know if he's the weakest link, but he might be the next guy out. But I don't think Watson will come in. Shavil says, how much do you think JP Duminy hates me right now for calling him a walking wicket?
I don't think JP Duminy is really capable of too much hate. I think he'll forgive you for that one.
I think also he'd earned people not believing in him, hadn't he, by this point?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's why Quinton de Kock came in ahead of him, and I've written all about that in my piece.
That's a good piece. We can read it there, but I think if you have had a go at JP Duminy, it's only because he's 29, his second test, he made an amazing 100, he's virtually done nothing since.
It's taken him 23 tests to get to 1,000 test runs.
Yeah. Is there any bowler in the world who can stop AB de Villiers?
No.
EP Forever says, is Mr. Kimber over his Johnson hangover? I think when Mitchell Johnson bowls really well, anyone in the world at the moment is going to struggle to do it. Now, the thing is with Mitchell Johnson, and I said this in Brisbane, and it means the same in Brisbane as it does right now, you have, EP forever. No one has any idea what Mitchell Johnson is going to do on a day-to-day basis. The fact that he's managed to do 6 tests in a row at such an amazing level, his next 11 tests he could average 40 again, because that's what he averaged the 11 tests before the 6. So no one knows anything about Mitchell Johnson. S. Jerry Edwards says, is there a story worth telling behind the lack of Warner leg spin recently? No. Dave Eames says, is Nathan Lyon the best batsman in the world? Has he ever got out? Well, he's the second best batsman behind AB de Villiers.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's for sure.
But what we saw tonight was you cannot get Nathan Lyon out.
You can try.
You can try really hard, and it doesn't matter how many times you hit him on the helmet or the gloves, or you actually get him caught behind, or you get him caught edging to gully. You cannot get him out. He will never ever go out again. Cricket Island says, hoping for a polite inquiries mention of a possible first series win. How about this, Cricket Island? Win your first series,
and then we'll mention it.
Yeah. Ahad Iqbal says, who is the best looking cricketer in the current series? He says Dale Steyn, then says Man Crush.
Do you want to answer this, or you want me to answer?
Best looking man in this series. It's a tough one. It's between Nathan Lyon and Steve Smith. And Dean Elgar. And I would say that look, all men are so attractive, it's hard to flip them. What about you?
I'm going with Wayne Parnell because of the haircut.
Kishore Sagari says, why no sponsors logo on Parnell's shirt?
Well, we've spoken about his religious reasons. We know Hashim Amla doesn't wear that Castle logo. It's on the breast, I think, or on the shoulder and on the sleeve. And Hashim Amla doesn't, Imran Tahir didn't, Wayne Parnell doesn't.
Neither do we. See you tomorrow. Funny little side note of JP Dermody, as he was coming off the ground, I don't know if you saw this, but David Warner ran up to shake his hand, and there was just that moment where you thought, oh no, he's going to sledge him if they walk off. But actually it was about the 100. It was a really nice moment, but it could have gone either way with David Warner.